200 years, medicine, science, we improved lifespan. A guy like me is supposed to live, well, adjusted for the occasional cigar and bourbon, into my 90s. What we haven't done is brain health. So we have now people that have significant neurodegenerative diseases, and that's the problem that we're trying to address. NeuroEM is not an experiment. It's not an early research company. We have 2 FDA clearances, one for clinical, one for a wellness device, 10 granted patents, 3 more in the works, picked out of 700 companies from all over the world to be the one of 30 in the Alzheimer's moonshot for startup health. And we started this is my friend Marty. She's one of 500,000 people that get diagnosed every year with Alzheimer's, and over 7 million just in the US today. And Marty is not alone. There's people like me, and I hate him for picking that picture, but they just did it to prank me and I left it on. I'm worried about my brain health. It's terrifying, the idea that we'll be 90 years old or 85 years old with a healthy body and a non-functioning brain. So for Marty, if you think about what was available at the time and still today, the competitive landscape is, it's a horrible choice in more ways than one. High efficacy, significant side effects. Low efficacy, no side effects. The cost is incredibly high until they discovered our technology. So her daughter decided not to do anything for 2 years and let it decline, and then they started treatment with our technology. So this is the measurements using ADAS-Cog, at the time the gold standard for cognition testing. The red line is what would have happened had she done nothing. So after 2 years, she declined enough to be very problematic, and the expectation that in about 4 more years she'd be completely gone. The blue line is what would have happened with the monoclonal antibodies, and the slowing down of the decline. So at best, slow it down, maybe get 60 months out of it. Countering, of course, for the potential side effects, right? Brain hemorrhage and death are not exactly light things. Now, here's what actually happened with her. Within the first 8 weeks, we stopped the decline and then leveled off and then started reversing the cognitive scores back to normal. That little dip at 8 months, she had COVID, ran it for 48 months, has remained steady. Last year, she was 92, 91. We asked her to take the ADAS-Cog test again. She scored normal. This is a woman that 5 years ago was diagnosed with moderate Alzheimer's. Now, if I only had one person, of course, you tell me to go away. The results that we had with her was consistent with the initial trial. 8 patients, 7 out of the 8 actually had the same experience. It's a significant development with data backed up by CSF fluid and imaging. And in a space where the placebo effect is plus or minus 1%, this was a significant study with a lot of important results. So what do? We actually built this little device, accidentally discovered, that sends radio frequency, small energy packets, like energy, not the foo-foo energy, right? Real into the brain, and it impacts 3 things. It breaks down misformed structures, A beta, tau, and oligomers that choke the brain and allows the brain to flush it out. Because we deliver energy to the mitochondria, it increases ATP production. And the one thing that we still don't know why it does that, we rebalance cytokines, which is basically reducing inflammation. That's exactly the combination of those 3 is what generates the impact. Now, the beauty of that, as we're thinking through that, is like, wait, so we can actually do a clinical application, but because of all these other things, we have a wellness path. And the FDA agreed. When they gave us the breakthrough designation for Alzheimer's, they did that based on that, but then we went back to them last year and said, hey, we think we have a wellness device, general brain health device, and they agreed, and they gave us 513G determination. The beauty of that is we now have access to 2 multi-billion-dollar markets. The clinical, the therapeutic, the Alzheimer's, or the brain health device. There's 100,000 queries every day on Google about brain health devices. Dual path strategy gives us three things: speed, experience to market, and an investor alignment, because we can get it to people's heads faster, and our investors get a better return. We executed on our path. We're right now at the last stage. We're getting ready to bring the device, the wellness device, to market, and that's why we're raising money. And our goal, our revenue model is pretty modest. We're not trying to build like a multi-million-dollar overnight consumer product. All we need to sell is 35,000 devices. That generates $125 million in gross margin. I can fund a lot of continued research with that money. We've all built companies before. Every one of us is an experienced entrepreneur, and we're all nerds. And then we have an advisory board. I'm a reasonably intelligent human being, but I tell you, when I walk into that advisory board, I'm the dumbest guy in the room, and that's okay. When you're the CEO, people that, 4 MDs, 2 brain surgeons, 5 PhDs, it is an amazing advisory board, and they do keep me on my toes because I'm just a simple engineer. So we are raising a Series A round. We already have $3 million of the 5. We have the last $2 million left. We're trying to close it, and that gets us to DFM, getting ready to launch. And then sometime in the next couple of months, once we know what the pipeline of orders looks like, we'll go get a go-to-market capital raise for that. I love this. Patty gave us this line, and it has become the motto for our company. You have to bring this to market. I cannot be the only daughter that gets this extra time. There's 7 million families that need what we have, and millions of others that want what we have. Help us get it to market. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Great presentation. I appreciate it. Such a major, problem that we have in society. Just kind of curious, can you talk a little bit about the preliminary target market for this and how this gets implemented just practically by being used by patients that may either be at risk or what stage of diagnosis they have and who's implementing it and so forth?
Yeah. So the starting point is the wellness device. And the reason for that is we have a pretty clear target audience. We've done a lot of market research. We know who's going to buy it. It's people like me. It's people that are concerned with performance, MCI. So we have a clear pathway for that. They're the early adopters. So that's pretty straightforward. There's nothing really complicated about that. On the clinical side, we still have another 3 years before we can actually get the FDA designation for a full clinical designation. That's also going to be direct, in a way, direct consumer, but the model for that is going to be per treatment rather than selling them a device. And then that allows us to get it to reimbursement and all the things that go along with that. So those are 2 different paths. Until we're done with a wellness device, I'm ex-special forces, rifles, not shotguns. Get the first thing done, get it to market, generate revenue, and then we have more detailed answers for those types of questions.
How are you going to market initially?
So the initial is direct. It's social media marketing. It's very targeted, very selective. We have an open trial, and they're getting 2 submissions a day, people that want to participate in the trial, and it's patient-funded. And the biggest problem that we have is they can't afford to pay the $5,000 to participate in the trial. So we know, just without any marketing, there's tens of thousands of people that are out there trying to buy what we have. We were at a conference a month and a half ago. We could have sold 100 devices that day. I mean, people will come and say, I want to buy 2. Can I buy one for my mom, one for my dad? So the market right now, it's pretty easy, straightforward, not very expensive. Again, I'm not trying to sell 100,000 devices year 1. 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. So that's the strategy. And you guys, I gave you, that's the actual, that's a functioning device right now. That's the one I'm using for the trial.
So how does it actually work? Somebody would buy this and then they wear it around
So you put that on, the recommended protocol right now is you put it on for an hour twice a day. Get up in the morning, put it on, get on my rowing machine and just kind of do the thing. And then at night before I go to sleep, I usually put it on. It's funny how they discovered it. They were trying to figure out if cell phones cause brain cancer. They don't. But in the process of that, they were doing a mouse experiment, and they realized, wait, the Alzheimer's mice are doing better. They thought it was a bad experiment, so they scratched it and did it again, and sure enough, at the 915 megahertz frequency, at a specific pulse rate, you're literally delivering photonic energy into the brain. and that gets converted. And that was the discovery.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you.
All right.
It is.
Just trying to steal it on you.
Yep, nope, you're not taking this.